naturally to walk up to the Hughes School. I mentioned it to my council person, and I heard a lot of crickets. And then I mentioned it to Sam, and she did email me back and told me that she was going to forward it to engineering. I'm just curious as to what happened there.
So I've actually got Nick coming in the studio in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to let him handle it because he's going to give. He knows a little more of an update than I do. So I think I'm going to let Nick take it from there because it's going to come right from the source, and I don't want to.
Now, when it comes to sidewalks, that's always a good question. The sidewalks are the responsibility of the city. Is there any property owner responsibility when it comes to the sidewalk in front of their home?
It is, and usually the city actually has a, and this one's not in front of home.
Well, right, I'm just saying, okay. but I'm talking about, like, let's say somebody moves in the city and there's an issue with a sidewalk, that's the city's responsibility.
It's the homeowners.
It's the homeowner's responsibility.
Yeah, there's in certain instances it is the city usually has the right of way from the road to the sidewalk.
Okay, gotcha.
And then it's the homeowner's responsibility to fix the sidewalk to their property. So that's why
some of the sidewalks are the city's responsibility.
Yeah, and some of them are, yes. But what the issue is we actually had funding for a sidewalk program that we actually put in our budget, and I think that knowing that the rising cost, it doesn't expand as much as it needs to, as far as the allocation that we have. But obviously, through budget constraints that we've had over the last year or so, I think that moving forward, I think that allocation, whether it could be done through CDBG increases or maybe a possible CHIP increase. That's something that we could look forward to. So we actually have Nick in, Rick. So I'm going to have him get settled in, put some headphones on, and then jump into the program.
We'll get to this issue in just a little bit, Rick, okay?
And then have him explain, where they are in the process and what they can do.
Fair enough. Asked and answered. Thank you.
All right, Rick. Thanks so much. Good talking to you.
All right, Rick. Good talking to you, buddy. And we will take a quick break and come back. We'll quickly speak with Jerry J-Man Joyner. I want to speak to him quickly. He's on the line, and then we'll get into it with Nick here to discuss all things city engineering for the city of Utica. That much more coming up on First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Summer is here, and that's something to smile about. Shulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry will give you a smile that will last long after summer.
I'm Dr. Andrew Rosansky, letting you know that summer will come and go, but a great smile never goes out of season. Crowns, veneers, or cleaning will make a big difference. Give us a call today.
Get the smile that gets smiles at Shulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry, 1 Paris Road, New Hartford, and online at uticasmiles.com.
Ferris commercial mowers set the bar with racing-inspired patented full suspension and integrated cutting decks so you can go faster, cut better, and not get beat up. Ferris Experience Suspension. Take advantage of the best financing and prices of the year. Visit us at whitesfarmsupply.com.
We're the power in power equipment. White's Farm Supply.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Select's premium package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home. All done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better.
You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge.
Oh, you people are wonderful.
Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee.
I hear better than I ever thought possible.
Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to jabraenhance.com/try. That's JABRA enhance.com/try. jabraenhance.com/try.
Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Income may be subject to state, local, or alternative minimum tax. Did you know that municipal bonds are a way for investors to support civil projects while earning federally tax-free income? The Erie Canal, which led to the expansion of the United States into the Midwest in the 1800s, was financed with municipal bonds. Are you looking to bridge the gap between the income of your working years and the income needed in retirement? Municipal bonds might provide the solution you're looking for. Henyon & Walsh is a leading specialist in tax-free municipal bonds and has provided investors with quality service and personal attention since 1990. Call now to receive their informative bond guide absolutely free. Dial 1-800-761-9761 to learn how to earn retirement income while keeping your taxes at bay. Just dial 1-800-761-9761 for a copy of their informative bond guide for free. No cost, no obligation. 1-800-761-9761. Henning and Walsh Inc., member of FINRA and SIPC.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
First news, Keeler in the morning on a Wednesday. Bill is on vacation. He'll be back later this week. My co-host this morning, guest co-host Samantha Colosimo-Testa, who is a counselor at large in the city of Utica. She has joined us this morning, and we thank her very much for that. Sam, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Welcome in. It's good to have you always on the program, and in this extended format especially. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll get to Nick Breidenbecker in just a minute. He's the city engineer for the city of Utica. He's in studio. We have lots of questions for him, but right now I do have to just get a couple of moments with Jerry J. Man Joyner. He is the host of the Weed and Whiskey podcast, and he is a staunch 420 advocate. For those who don't know what that is, marijuana advocate. Jerry J. Man, good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. And that 420 is also my birthday.
That's right. I did know that. It's like you were born for it.
My 86-year-old mother says she would have stayed in labor another day had she known that was going to be my birthday and lead me down this path to host Weed and Whiskey News. So.
Well, and we really appreciate you because while you're an advocate, you're also a realist, and you're also very honest in your analysis of different things on the topic when it comes to hemp, THC, marijuana, the good and the bad. And one of the things we want to talk to you about is a recent study that is showing that cannabis use is catching up with alcohol as a contributing factor in crashes. What does this study reveal, and what's it all about?
Well, it makes a headline because now 16.1% of people had THC in their system versus 16% of people on this study that a hospital in Canada did after people were in an accident. So my first thing about this is avoid the 4 Ds if you're going to get behind the wheel.
Right.
Don't drive drowsy. Don't drive drunk. Don't drive drugged, whether it's smoking pot or taking prescription medication. And don't drive distracted. Don't put other people into harm because of something that you want to put into your body. With that said, there's a misnomer because THC stays in the body system much longer than alcohol. And so therefore, I think this was in Canada. They smoke more weed in Canada than we do here in America, I think. But 80% of Americans are in favor of adult use. So we have more and more people using cannabis. And interesting, a trend away from alcohol. We're seeing less alcohol use now that more and more people are accepting THC products.
Yeah, and it's becoming more widespread, and more states are open to it. And in fact, actually quite surprising, we'll get into this in a second, another thing I want to bring up with you, quite shocking, there's a groundswell of support, and it will be up to the public voters in the state of Florida whether or not it's legalized recreational in that state, which many are surprised about. But I think ultimately with this study, you have to be careful of blaming the substance and not the user.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Using common sense, if you're going to take something that could impair you, is something that everybody should embrace. But, let's be realist. There's 18 million drunk driver convictions in America each year. And we're going to see more DUIs, driving under the influence, which is, I believe, in Texas, that's the way they classify that if you're intoxicated from something other than alcohol. And now law enforcement has a hard problem in telling this. It used to be you could smell the weed in the car. Oh, you've been smoking weed. What if they ate a gummy? You can't smell that.
Right.
It's going to affect them just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different ways you can consume marijuana products now other than smoking it. You got vape pens, you got drinks, you've got the gummies, as you mentioned, candy. And, some of these candies nowadays look like regular candy you'd buy off the shelf, which is a whole other topic with keeping the kids safe from it. So.
Yeah, and adults, certainly for our children, but even adults. When a package says Doritos or Oreos and it's got some infused products in there, some consumers may be confused and think Frito-Lay has got into this business because more and more mainstream consumer packaged good companies are starting to get into the, especially with the hemp stuff being available everywhere. Up in New York, you've got adult use regulated marijuana legal, as does 23 other states.
Yeah, well, I think also you got to just be careful of, Grandma thinking that her Doritos are just regular nacho cheese. And I
thought I felt weird the other day after eating those Doritos.
Got a little drowsy, got a little loopy after those.
And same thing with these drinks. They're huge here in Texas. I couldn't keep one lit. I tried to get that thing lit.
Well, definitely for the marijuana consumer, there are several options, and there is the possibility, maybe in a Harris administration that it may become legal federally at some point. I don't see that in the near future, but it's definitely a possibility. And one of the surprising things I want to get your take on is this proposition in Florida that the public will be voting on that may allow recreational use in the Sunshine State. What are your thoughts?
Well, I just saw that Ken Griffin, a billionaire hedge fund guy, invested $20 million to try to stop that. Down in Florida, you got a lot of retirees. A lot of people are getting benefits from THC and CBD products for wellness. There's no doubt about that. It's helping a lot of people. So we're going to continue to see these political struggles in different states as we get closer and closer to legalization in America, which I'm a believer that if we were to legalize marijuana in a short period of time, it would literally eliminate the legacy or the black market or the illegal market, which is where bad products are at, bad actors. Because nobody goes to a bootlegger anymore to buy their booze, right? You go to a regulated store. The same thing would happen with that. There's 3 times as much illegal marijuana products in America as there are legal. That's how huge the industry is.
And I think that people, majority of people that I talk to that prefer marijuana, they prefer it over alcohol use for the simple fact that they don't have the possibility to act violent or anything like that.
Or wake up with a hangover.
When they do smoke marijuana. So I think that even trying to get from the fact of curbing, alcoholism inside, whatever. Curbing alcoholism
or the side effects of alcoholism,
that I think that people prefer to smoke marijuana over alcohol consumption. So, I think looking at that standpoint, too, is a... Not that saying that one drug use is better than the other, but if you are going to, have a drug of choice, it hopefully would be marijuana over alcohol.
Yeah.
There's a little thing to consider in that. The body accepts alcohol as a toxic. Okay, it's a toxin that you're putting into your body.
Yeah.
THC, your body has something called the endocannabinoid system. That's a big word for J-Man, especially this early in the morning.
You said it so well.
What is the word again?
I've had practice on that, but everybody's regulates a little bit different. That's why some people my wife could eat a half of a Buck of Buzz gummy, and she gets a great night's sleep. I got to eat 2 or 3 of them before I feel the effect because I actually smoke flour in addition to the gum. I'm in the business. I got to test all this stuff, right? It's good or not.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, J-Man. That's the point.
You get to alcohol. Whiskey is in part of our name, weed and whiskey. We hang out with Willie Nelson. My wife gives me the stink eye if I have more than two cocktails. Okay, she's like, that's enough because we know that it's affecting my body differently. But she lets me smoke as much cannabis as I want because it doesn't seem to have that violent that your co-host brought up that occurs so often with alcohol.
Yeah. Well, J-Man, we always appreciate your insight. We will see what happens in Florida and across the nation, and we always enjoy your presence on our show, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
If you got any product, you can send it right to the studio.
Anytime, guys. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right, Jerry J-Man Joyner. He is the host of the Weed and Whiskey podcast. You can find it wherever your podcasts are available. We will skip the break here. I'm pulling a Bill Keeler move here, and we'll skip the break and go right to our in-studio guest.
That's usually what happens when I'm on the show.
That's right, yeah. Go long, which is fine. We'll figure it out. In studio now is Nick Breidenbecker. He is the City of Utica engineer, and it is a pleasure to meet you for the first time. Nick, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you.
So we've explored a lot of topics, and Samantha, being our co-host this morning, has suggested you as a guest, and I apologize we have not invited you on before, but sometimes Samantha needs to give me a good kick in the head so that I wake up and explore new options for guests.
Sure. Well, I'm new to the scene as well, so...
Well, welcome, and we hope the job has been treating you well. And I was saying to Samantha before, it's one thing to hear from the mayor or an elected official about things like paving and sidewalks and roads and blacktop and all that, but it's another thing to hear it from somebody whose job is specifically the inner workings and the infrastructure of the city, and that's what you do on a daily basis.
Yes.
One of the things that we talked about earlier this morning was the paving project, and it's a priority for some. It's a hot button issue for many. Kind of talk about how that's been going so far this year and the new system that's been implemented to hopefully give a kind of unbiased look at what roads need to be done and when.
Sure. So as far as status of where we're at, currently we have everything is milled and all the binder is down or being put down in the last areas this week. Following that, we're going to do our adjustments of any road, manhole covers or water line caps or whatever. And then in September, we're going to come back near the end of September and put our final top coats down. For what we're doing moving forward, we've implemented a few new programs. Michelin Robotics is a software that we've been running in our cars lately, this last few weeks.
And that's with Michelin, like the tire company?
Yeah, it's the tire company. You know, if they know the roads of all people, right?
Yes.
So
they know what's going to impact those tires.
Nick, can you kind of touch base on what that actually is?
All right, so it's a software that's on a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
What they do is we drive the streets. They take pictures every 10 feet. They give us a course to follow.
Yeah.
And they're going to take the data and upload it. So what it does is it gives us a level playing field of grading the roads. So, you know, your perception or my perception could be a little different depending on how we're reading the road.
Yeah.
This reads it consistent every time. And at the end of the day, it'll give us a grade, A to F. So taking that information moving forward is how we're going to address the worst streets first. And
so this software, literally, the software based on the technology analyzes the roads and the condition of that road and gives it a grade, and that is how you at the engineering department will dictate or decide what roads get done first and to what level, if it needs to be fully taken up and repaved or milled and filled or whatever maintenance needs to be done.
Yep. It is one level of what we're going to do to grade the road, right? I mean, that'll give us the unbiased baseline.
Sure.
Correct. From there, you know, there's a lot of other factors. Drivability, how much traffic is actually on that road.
Yeah.
On a regular basis. You know, obviously, all roads need to be passable.
Right.
205 miles of road, linear road, is a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
And another thing that we've discussed too is, you know, not every road does need to be repaved. So, like, say a road was just done maybe, I don't know, in the past 8 years or so, okay? Well, it might just need a seal. It might just need, you know, a little correction,
Repairs.
a curve cup that makes that road still viable. So instead of repaving an entire stretch of road, you're now fixing that so that you could utilize more of that money towards other repairs or a possible reconstruction or a mill and fill of another street. So I think coming from that standpoint and understanding that, listen, not every road needs to be, you know, done in totality, but using that so that you could possibly use that money to stretch out a little further, you know, so that everybody a little more could get a piece
spread
of the
it out a
puzzle.
little wider. Yep.
And to your point, Nick, you know, you talk about the, you know, how often or how frequently a particular road is traversed, right? So you've got, you know, multiple Fs, right? You've got three or four Fs, right? And one is like the one-way street that there's two houses on, and we love those people, we love those residents, we want them to be happy and not be banging
what does the
up.
F stand for? How many times do you say the F word hitting a pothole down that road? Because that would make more sense.
Yeah, on Broad Street, there's a few.
So go ahead, explain what you mean by F.
Failing roads.
Failing roads.
That definitely actually is a good way of looking at it too. But if there's several F grade roads, obviously the one that has the most traffic will be the one that would probably have to take the priority.
Well, we would take all of the failing roads as the priority, but starting at the highest traveled and working your way down. I did a drive around, and I started grading them at how fast I could go on the road. 30 being a grade A, full speed. Right. If you're at 5 miles an hour or 10 miles an hour, or stopped in between potholes, that's an F. That's a failing road, right?
Right.
So we it's some of these, as Sam had said, some of these cases there are repairs that we can do, some patchwork, and being a little bit more comprehensive with our plan overall. Next year we're hoping to be able to touch a little bit more with the money that we're allowed to use.
Yeah. So, I definitely think you're, at least from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, the mayor is allowing you to kind of make a lot of the decisions as far as, the paving of the roads and the maintenance.
Nothing goes
He's not going to go put an island in the middle of the road without a pool. That is going to take some time.
Resist herself.
What I'm saying is that he's going to
resist herself.
He's not going to have it. He's not going to have the freeway to just sign off on.
No, I work with the mayor every day. It's it's a team effort, right? At the end of the day, we're all here to do something good for the city. So anything that comes out of my department, I bring across to him regularly, daily.
Yeah.
I have free reign to make the decisions the best I see them, but I like more hands on the rope,
more collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely essential.
And another thing, and this is obviously something that I've worked on prior, and I didn't have that much traction with the previous administration or the engineering department. But one of the things is a municipality that we have to get back to, especially in trying to maintain and have proper maintenance on our roads, is getting truck routes back into the city. Because a majority of the times, what happens is that you have heavy tractor trailers hitting potholes, hitting sewer caps and stuff like that, when they really shouldn't be on that road, for the simple fact that not every road was meant to maintain that type of weight.
Yeah.
So, we have had truck routes in the city, and I know that it was a huge problem that I had when I was a representative of North Utica, and obviously that didn't change when I became an at-large representative. I just really couldn't get somebody that I wanted to sit down to in order to implement that truck route back into the city. What we were able to do is we were able to, put up signs like on River Road. What would happen would be that trucks trying to get into Walmart would end up going down Riverside Drive, and they would get stuck on the top of
as
Cosby
opposed
Road
to going up and taking 12 north and getting into it that way.
So what ended up happening, because it was a dead end, they would have to reverse. They ended up knocking down power lines, knocking down trees. So what we were able to do is we were able to put up signs that said no truck route. However, if you actually hit a truck route into the city, what actually ends up happening is that it goes into the GPS system and reroutes the trucks to
without ever having to get to the point of no return, seeing the sign and saying, it's already too late.
Exactly. And so that's one of the things. And I had I have the truck route map. I still have it. I had it. I legislated it. I got it all together. Like I said, and it's a little outdated. It's probably back from like 2017, 2016. But that's something that I definitely think if we're going to maintain our roads, and we're going to, utilize them the best that we can, coming up with, a truck route or even preventative maintenance, like maybe possibly buying a sealer so that you can seal the cracks in the road so that they don't become damaged during a snowstorm or through the bad weather that we have. And, that's really part of our problem too in trying to maintain the roads, is that we do have bad winters when the roads freeze and so on and so forth. And,
which is another thing we've been addressing, talking internally inside the engineering department, frequently lately, which is repairing the road on more of a regular basis, keeping up on it. There's many different options, like micro paving being one of them, where you don't really take anything off, you just kind of recoat the road. If you imagine your driveway, just putting a new sealer down, that'll help things last a little longer, it'll stop from the water infiltrating into cracks and or whatever, right?
Yeah, so
there are a lot of conversations that we're having to try to contain the decay, but also prevent it. So preventative measures are probably our most forefront right now of how do we.
And that's one of the things that I kind of wanted to get Nick up to date on was when we did put the paving plan, and I want to say, and I know people can misconstrue it that, oh, that's all you did was increase the amount of money that you were spending per year. Yes, it is correct. But however, we still met with, a number of individuals from the Water Authority to, Atlantic Testing to really try and get the what was called, again, CUP, was City of Utica Paving Plan, was to try and get it on a rotation. So we came with the concept and we worked with through the finances, through Peter Ferriello at the time, God rest his soul. He was our budget director, and we worked up with ways that we could finance it. So we ended up coming up with a hybrid plan, whereas we would borrow the money and hopefully get to the point where we wouldn't need to borrow that much money in our budget, because we were on a forecast of good budgeting and so on and so forth. And obviously, what happened in the last year, not having a budget director and maintaining that, that really kind of put us off track a little bit to try and get to that point of being self-sustainable inside your own budget for that paving plan.
Yeah.
With that said, the whole point was you were doing a 15-year paving program so that you could go on it like a regular basis. So year 1 road would now be paved again in year 16. Year 2 road would be paved again in year 17. I mean, you have over 200 miles of roads in the city. However, not all those roads are maintained by the city. Some are maintained by the county. Some are maintained by the state. And those are huge stretch of roads for us that, if the state saw us and said, hey, listen, we see that you guys are on a rotation. Maybe we can now budget, say, Herkimer Road to be on a 10-year plan, rather than here's 30 years, 16 or 30-year plan. Yeah. So, again, as a municipality, we really did work hard, and I could even, show you PowerPoint presentations that we had and so on and so forth to really. We changed the number of times we rolled the roads. We changed, what type of grading that we used. We didn't use so much recycled pavement inside it so that, those roads could possibly last longer. So to get back to that, and again, the legislation was written specifically, and I know, Nick, you're here, and I don't mean to keep talking, and it's a very bad habit of mine.
That's all right. That's all right. We do have to get to James, too.
Yeah.
So,
So I'll just wrap this up, but that's all I was saying, is to try and get us on a point that we were in a rotation.
One additional point fast is we're also working with the Water Board and National Grid, right? So as we're opening up the road, milling it, well, we're giving them our list so we can keep up with them, because
that was the other thing. That infrastructure needs to be replaced. It's very old.
Absolutely, right? Yeah. And they're being mandated to replace a lot of it, lead lines or whatever. So as we're opening it up, they put it down. Typically, we put the pavement down, and they come right behind us and cut it, right, to do their work. So
and that's
part of the longevity is working with the different authorities to try to, one time we're in and we're out. Right.
And that's why I actually legislated that curb cuts, actually, you had to have a permit. Yeah. Because so many people were putting in curb cuts that it was a total waste of redoing our roads. So now it's a permitted process. I wrote the legislation specifically that if they did a curb cut within that year, that road didn't maintain, they would actually have to come back and redo it. So there is process and procedures that we did put in place to try and, keep the maintenance of the roads up. And like I said, having Nick here and trying to explain what the city's been doing on the the new administration's behalf and grading the roads and taking out of that political component and really getting into what needs to be done is most important.
And we don't want to forget Rick, because
Rick, I'm sorry.
We don't want to forget Rick, but in 30 seconds to a minute, if you can. I know it's tough, but talk about the sidewalks. What's the city's policy on that, and what can be done and what is being done about the sidewalks that are in decay?
So sidewalks are generally the homeowner's responsibility. That's the way it's written. We do offer a rebate, $8 a square foot up to $2,000 rebatable.
That's very good
money. Yeah, it's good. Come into the engineering department. We will walk you through the paperwork. We have cross sections of how we like the sidewalks to be put back together. Our inspectors will go out and inspect it. Once the job is done, we reimburse you up to the total amount, right? We do own the right of ways from the road to the sidewalk, right? As there's utilities in the ground in various places. But that's only us owning the right of way. By what is written, homeowners own
So if somebody has a complaint about a sidewalk that's not theirs, that maybe is giving them issues, like in Rick's case, let the city know, and the city will notify that homeowner.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're listening to the community, right? That's one of my main pet peeves. I want to hear from the community, from all of our residents, and I want them to know that I'm sending my team out there. We're looking at all these options. If it's, we're willing to work with anyone, but we are a little bit limited on what we can do.
Understood.
In that regard, but I'm always open to listen and check it out. Send my team down there to look at it.
And which they did in this perspective, yeah. And they have notified obviously the homeowner and who's responsible for that. And one of the things that I talked about was possibly even just a temporary fix for that area, maybe possibly putting some cold patch down until we can come up with a better solution.
Yeah, it's not to get into too many codes or anything of that nature, but it should be concrete on the sidewalk.
Concrete.
There you go. All right.
But,
Nick Breidenbecker, city engineer, let's do this again. I really appreciate you taking the time. Wish we had more time. We'll give you an hour next time because this is a very important topic.
You could co-host the show if you want.
I could talk all day.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. We've got James Genovese waiting in the wings. We'll have him coming up next on First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Thanks.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for the past 52 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantique.com.
For a lasting impression, trust the quality and craftsmanship of Humphrey Memorials. They're experienced in all facets of memorial design, sales of monuments and mausoleums, on-site cemetery lettering, cleaning and restoration, and specialty services like etched glassware, mirrors, and landscape products. Humphrey Memorials of Herkimer has been making a lasting impression in central New York since 1946. They also handle commercial construction projects as well. Find out more at humphrey.memorials.com. or call 866-4471.
They say to make yourself indispensable at work, so I developed a digital catering solution that only I can operate. Okay, it's actually easycater.com.
David!
They love me, because I, the director of catering logistics, not a real job, use easycater to get catering from all our favorite restaurants. Tight budget? No problem. Need vegetarian options? Gluten-free? Check and check.
D-Man, you crushed lunch today.
It was easy. easycater.
easycater is your all-in-one tech platform for ordering food for work. Start your order at easycater.com.
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan. People are always commenting on how healthy my dogs are. One of the reasons is the food my dogs eat.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a premium freeze-dried raw dog food designed to support your dog's health, happiness, and lifespan. Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of cod Krispies. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
First News Keeler in the morning, coming up on the end of our 7 o'clock hour. Samantha Colosimo Testa in studio this morning as my guest co-host. Bill is on vacation. He will be back later in the week, and he's enjoying a much-deserved vacation.
We miss you, Bill, if you're listening. And
yes,
I know you're
many
not.
people do. Many people miss him, and especially myself. It's never easy to sit in his chair and do his job, and I respect him immensely always for what he does, but especially when I have to be in that role. So bear with me, audience. We appreciate you sticking by. And in studio right now, we don't ever usually get to talk to you on this side of the mic, James. It's very nice to have you in front of the microphone. James Genovese from Oneida County is in this morning, and we're talking about complete streets. And with the 9 minutes we have left in the hour, let's get into it. So my idea of complete streets, in my head is I think complete streets, the Genesee Street debacle of 4 lanes, 2 lanes, bike lane, and back to 2 lanes, and now 4 lanes again. But it's much more than that.
Yeah, so it's much more than that. What it is it's a street design concept, right? That it's a street design concept that is used when planning and designing streets. So the process or the idea is that the street is for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. And how do we do that in a way that everybody that's using it is going to be safe? So you're looking to have it be equitable. You're looking to have it be a placemaking situation. You're looking to have it be healthier. You're looking to have it be safer, which is the most important thing. And it spurs economic development when it's done correctly. So the idea is that everyone is going to use the road, right? How do we make that road safe for everybody to use it, which will then in turn make more people use it in a way that is better, right? So that's what it is from 50,000 feet about what it's supposed to be versus kind of what it's not. What you don't do, or what you try to avoid, is you still have to design a road. You still have to plan for it properly. You still have to take into account what it is. No one's going to put bike lanes on I-90.
Yeah, no.
Right?
No, definitely
that's
not.
So when we say everybody, you also have to apply some common sense. And then that's when, we as the Oneida County and Herkimer Oneida County Transportation Council and DOT and the people that get together to talk about these things and do these things have to look at the proper way to implement that policy. Now, we have some rules that are attached to that. We have federal dollars, and federal dollars, 2.5% of every federal highway dollar has to go to complete street design concepts. So you do have to do some of that. But if you do it right, you want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a novel idea, especially in the downtown area when you have so many. Well, because it's a noble idea, I should say.
The idea is that people right now, we have a 64% increase over the last 5 years in intersection accidents, right? For example.
A lot this year.
Yeah. That's because intersections and complete streets also is about clearly defined intersections, about making sure that there's wayfaring that's going to get people to where they have to go. It's about making sure that these things are safer to cross, whether you're riding a bike, driving a car, or walking. So a lot of it is about safety. And that becomes the most important piece, really.
And what I meant is it's a noble idea to have bike lanes and, different ways that the street is designed for a residents in downtown who are living in loft apartments who want to get around and go and have the walkability. But back to what you said, it's also got to make sense for the commerce that is involved in what downtown entails as well.
Well, and that's another thing too. And I know that every time a road is looked at, there is a checklist that the city and I'm sure the process of the county, it's got to be very similar, because the idea of complete streets came from the state government, and then it ended up becoming more of a federal component and really tying into that process. So it's not like you just wake up one morning and say, you know what, I'm going to put complete streets, on Broad Street. You don't do that. It takes some time and it takes some planning.
Well, they did do it on Broad Street.
What's that?
Yeah, they did do it on Broad Street.
No, they did, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It took time, and that was done through, the on behalf of, the Herkimer Oneida County Transportation Study,
through DOT,
the state, the DOT. Mm-hmm. I mean, so there are process and procedures that are in place that's why I wanted you here to touch base on.
So
what
Herkimer Oneida County Transportation Council is the name, really, and it's hosted by Oneida County, so the employees are Oneida County employees. And the county executive has allowed us to be the host we just re-upped for 10 more years. So any road work that is going to involve federal dollars comes through our metropolitan planning organization, which is the Herkimer Oneida County Transportation Council, which has a governing body, which is the Herkimer County and Oneida County are chairs and vice chairs, and they alternate. And then the mayor of Utica and Rome have seats, and town supervisor has a seat, and so on. And there's a list there. Economic development people have seats, right? Because that's a part of infrastructure improvement and having an idea there. I mean, when you look at those things and the money that flows that way, that gets approved and goes through that process. The board meets quarterly, and they're open to the public and all that good stuff. The reason that you look at all of these things in that way too, I mean, you got situations where 22% of workers, for example, don't have access to a vehicle. Well, they're going to need to get to work somehow. Workers, not just people, workers. So it's things like that you have taken into account. Right now, what we're doing, which is a federal grant that came through Oneida County, but through the Herkimer Oneida County Transportation Council, which we call HOC. So I can stop saying Herkimer Oneida County.
Right.
That's good. Yes.
The HOCS is two county, Herkimer Oneida County, and we received a federal grant, very competitive grant, for about $500,000 to do a Safe Streets for All action plan, and that is looking at all the roadways, most of the roadways underneath the state system for safety, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of that is complete street elements, more often than not always, but more often than not. And the idea is to decrease motor vehicle accidents, which continue to be high on par, with the rest of the state. Not crazy high, but certainly the intersections is an issue. We've got other situations that tend to be the case. 20% of our fatal serious accidents happen in Utica, 9% in Rome. Now, that makes sense, right? Because there's more people there, right? And there's more people coming through there. But at the same time, you're looking at these different roadways in order to understand and put together a plan that allows them to be safer. That plan has had multiple meetings, technical advisory groups, core groups, steering committees, all that good planning jive. And then on top of that, we've filled out 500 surveys. It's not just for State Street. There's also a long range transportation plan, kind of do them in concert with one another because they happen at the same time. And then, and also an interactive map where people can go on and put in the points of contention, right? Or places of value.
So there's a lot of public input to this.
Well, there's about 300 points on there. There's about 500 surveys. We've had a couple meetings. We're having another one in September. We've got a lot of stakeholders that have been involved. So yeah, you don't just do it.
Right.
Right.
So we've got James Genovese says we're coming up on the top of the hour. We don't have much time left, but if the public wants to learn more about this council or this committee, or if they want to have some input, how do they do it?
Yeah, they can go right to Oneida County website and head to the planning page, and it'll get you to the Herkimer Oneida County Transportation Council has its own kind of website, but that's how you get there. And that's one way to do it. Right now, the point of the map is in view only mode actually from yesterday because as it turns out, because we're downloading that data and kind of putting it where we need it to go. And then we will, it's been open for a long time. There's 300 different points on it, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll close that for a little while, and then we're going to have an option to open that up on a regular interval just for long range transportation planning in general as new hotspots come up, or new things that people have control over. It's an easy map. You just go on and you click on, that you want to add a comment or a point or a line, and you put it on the map, and
all right.
it's done.
James Genovese, we're coming to the top of the hour. It's going to cut us off. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you more at a later.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
He could not be more thrilled. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what former President Trump just told Fox and Friends about his Democratic rival's running mates.
There's never been a ticket like this. This is a ticket that would want this country to go communist immediately, if not sooner.
And he just said Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is more left than Vice President Harris.
He's very heavy into transgender. Anything transgender he thinks is great.
The former president says his rivals would be bad for border security and inflation in the economy.
It's a very bad situation that we're going in. We could end up in a depression if these people are reelected.
And the former president just told Fox they have to work out a Trump-Harris debate.
I think debates are very important, and I think she'll be exposed just like Biden was exposed. Nobody knew Biden was that bad.
Now in Philadelphia, Vice President Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, called the former president and his running mate, J.D. Vance, creepy and weird, and
Trump weakens our economy to strengthen his own hand. He mocks our laws. He sows chaos and division.
The new Harris-Walz Democratic ticket will rally today in Wisconsin and then Michigan, with the vice president saying,
"We are the underdogs in this race, but we have the momentum, and I know exactly what we are up against."
A progressive House Democrat's on her way out of Congress. Cori Bush lost a primary in Missouri, ousted by Wesley Bell.
This district is ready for better and more accountable representation in Washington, D.C.
Congresswoman Bush, a pro-Palestinian sympathizer in the war in Gaza, vows to bring AIPAC's kingdom down. Angry, the pro-Israel group spent millions backing Bell, just like it did in New York, helping primary out another progressive House Democrat, Jamal Bowman. Tropical storm Debbie, blamed for 6 deaths, is lingering off the Carolina coast, could turn back and make landfall again and move up the coast. It's causing a lot of flooding as it continues to rain down. America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-887-1010. 800-887-1010.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Hamas has named a new leader a week after the old one was killed in a bombing in Iran that prompted Iran to vow revenge.
Now, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah spoke yesterday at a ceremony for a senior commander who was killed in an Israeli strike last week. An Israeli fighter jet swooped over the ceremony as he vowed to take revenge and target Israel. Nasrallah, of course, spoke over video from a bunker over fears of being killed by the Israelis. Amid these new threats, U.S. diplomatic efforts are underway to avoid a crisis and widening war.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Haifa, Israel. The 5 American troops and 2 U.S. contractors injured when an Iran-backed group bombed an air base in Iraq are said to be in stable condition. A Pakistani man with ties to Iran is now jailed in the U.S.
Federal prosecutors in New York City charging Asif Raza Merchant with murder for hire, saying the 46-year-old Pakistani national traveled to the U.S. after visiting Iran, attempting to organize a plot to assassinate a U.S. politician or government official.
Based on DOJ's ongoing investigation, there has been no evidence to suggest that the individual named in today's indictment has any connection to the assassination attempt against former President Trump that happened in Butler, Pennsylvania.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre explaining the administration has invested extraordinary resources to address these threats. The DOJ says Merchant was arrested trying to leave the U.S. on July 12th after paying undercover officers he thought were hitmen to take part in the scheme. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
On Wall Street, a rebound may continue from Monday's huge sell-off. The Dow futures are up more than 300 points. The Dow yesterday gained almost 300. In baseball, the Chicago White Sox finally won for the first time in nearly a month, beating Oakland 5-1. The win snaps the White Sox 21-game losing streak, tied for the longest in American League history. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time, 8:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. We have sunny skies. We are getting warmer. We're 62 right now, making our way up to near 80 today. Your full weather forecast is coming up. This update brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. Longtime executive director of the Rome Rescue Mission, Matthew Miller, widely regarded as a man who dedicated his life to giving back to those most in need, has passed away at the age of 63. Miller moved to Rome in the early 90s to start what would soon become the Rome Rescue Mission and his life's work. Miller helped hundreds, if not thousands, of people over the decades, officials say, providing such necessities as a meal, a place to stay, and an opportunity to learn important job skills to those on the margins of society. In memory of a local 10-year-old who passed away this year, the community has come together to love like Olivia and honor her legacy of spreading joy and kindness to others. 10-year-old Olivia Sacco of Deerfield passed away on March 2nd, 2024. She was born on October 6th, 2013, to parents Greg and Tricia Sacco. She was a loving sister to Dominic, her younger brother. She loved attending school at Deerfield Elementary, where she was in 5th grade, and she participated in several school music ensembles like chorus, school band, and the Whitesboro District Band as a clarinet player. She was also a Girl Scout. A New York resident has been convicted of providing intelligence on dissidents and acting as a covert agent for China. Shunjun Wang, an academic and author from Queens, was found guilty by a federal grand jury of acting as an agent for China without notifying U.S. authorities, among other charges. Wang had been gathering information on individuals considered subversive by the Chinese government, including Hong Kong democracy protesters and advocates for Taiwanese independence. Prosecutors revealed Wang's covert activities, including writing diary emails detailing plans and conversations, which were accused by a Chinese intelligence officer. And New York broke the record for the most tornadoes in a single year, with 2 tornadoes reportedly touching down Monday. The first happened in the city of Buffalo, which was classified as an EF1. Its path of destruction was 1.4 miles long, 300 yards wide, and was on the ground for about 6 minutes. No one was injured. This marked tornado number 26 so far this year, beating the all-time record of 25 set in '92. The National Weather Service is also investigating a possible tornado in Hamilton, which is in Madison County. It is 8:08. Your weather forecast calling for sunny skies today with temperatures in the upper 70s, possibly reaching the lower 80s today. Mostly clear skies expected overnight with a low in the mid to upper 50s and a chance of rain and thunderstorms tomorrow. We'll see a high in the upper 70s. You can always get the full 5-day forecast anytime at WIBX950.com. Right now, we're at 62 degrees under sunny skies. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:08. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43, local contractors. Finally, as much as I complain about them, we will see the Yankees play again after 2 days without any action. There will be a doubleheader today in the Bronx, as yesterday's game was delayed due to the forecast. The Yankees will play the Angels in a traditional doubleheader. New York is coming off a series win over the Blue Jays. They've won 7 of their last 8 games to climb to first in the AL East. The Orioles fell to Toronto last night, which knocked them a half a game under the Yanks, so the Yankees are in first place. The Mets fell to the Rockies 6-3 in the series opener from Denver. Their 3-game series continues tonight. They are trailing Atlanta by 1.5 games for the NL wildcard spot, the final NL wildcard spot. In the NFL, joint practices between the Giants and Lions continue to be contentious. New York rookie wideout Malik Neighbors threw punches at Detroit's Kirby Joseph after an incomplete pass during yesterday's session. It led to both teams funneling onto the practice field with shoving and punches being thrown. The Giants and Lions clash at MetLife tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Jets are preparing for their first preseason game. Gang Green squares off against second overall pick Jaden Daniels and the Commanders at MetLife Stadium. The team also had a chippy practice yesterday where several skirmishes broke out at Florham Park. Robert Saleh needed to stop practice and told the media they want to limit cheap fights. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time 8:10. We are going to continue our conversation just a little bit longer with James Genovese coming up on First News with Keeler in the morning. Next on WIBX.
Whitesboro Central School District is looking for bus drivers to join their team now. Whitesboro is a leading school system in central New York with 7 schools, 3,100 students, and a 92% graduation rate. You can help drive our students' success. When you drive for Whitesboro, you get pay that's based on your experience, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and summers off. Call Andy at 315-768-9740 or stop by the garage, 20 Wood Road, Whitesboro.
It's hard to know what to do when you lose a loved one. You need someone you can trust to help you navigate all the options. Mohawk Valley Monuments has been providing comfort and delivering quality memorials in our community for over 95 years. Mohawk Valley Monuments has experience with all the local cemeteries, from simple grave markings to intricate family mausoleums. For personalized service, call us today at 315-724-7629 or visit us at mohawkvalleymonuments.com.
You want to recycle, but you're not sure what's recyclable, what goes in your weekly recycling bin, or what goes in the trash. Wheelock Disposal Service, your recycling experts, wants to give you some helpful tips in determining what waste goes where. Doing some remodeling or work in construction? If you have a small or large project, it's best to get a roll-off for your discarded material. This way you don't have to separate the contents. For more information, go to wheelockdisposal.com, your recycling experts.
Utica and the Mohawk Valley take up to 60 months to pay with no money down at Mattress Express on anything in the store for qualified buyers. See store for details. Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus in New Hartford, and Oneida and the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theaters.
We're your neighbors, friends, and your family. We care about our community, your business, and most important, you.
We support charities like the United Way, McMahon Ryan Child Advocacy Center. We are the members of IBW Local 43 and NECA Contractors. You don't just see our work, you live it. From the JMA Wireless Dome, hospitals, schools, and city buildings, the IBEW is part of the community.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1904 $20 Gold Liberty coins have been found. These gorgeous 1904p gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 500 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1904 Gold Liberty struck at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1904 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 120 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9819. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus, a $75 value free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure your 1904p $20 Gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-973-9819.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. News time, first news, Keeler in the morning. It's 8:15. And we wanted to keep James Genovese a little bit longer, despite his objection. No, I'm kidding. He agreed.
Happy to do it.
He's willingly here to stay. And there's a few other things we wanted to get into with him in regards to this topic of complete streets. So, Sam, take it away. There was a couple of points you wanted to make as far as the city's role or cooperation in this.
Sure, and that's actually something that James can touch on. Just the, what the coordination is with the city, how the planning goes into it, and I think that's an important concept to know that the dealings and working with one another and how that goes. So
yeah, so I think there's some built-in kind of institutional coordination. Hawks, for example, the city of Utica, the mayor has a seat on that governing body. We work with the city in really all towns and cities in a variety of ways, not the least of which is through that council. But then, in addition to that, a lot of trainings, a lot of things that we do for planning boards, yours and everybody else's, and a bunch of other things that we do to kind of explain the planning process, zoning codes, things of that nature too. So that happens. We obviously, we've worked together on things like Flood Mitigation Task Force and Sequoia Creek Basin Intermunicipal Commission, which Utica is a member. We've worked together on different things as far as with your engineering department, road scoring, some of those types of things. We do a lot of that inside the city. We do it everywhere, but we do that inside the city. As the city was looking with new administration to do more of an analysis on roads and how they wanted to do their plan. We were at the table for that. I think you ultimately went and got a consultant, but we were early on in that process with our GIS guys talking about that. We obviously help with mapping and economic development and drone flights, and we'll fly a drone for topographical data and things of that nature. So we work together a lot of that. We also working together on some community plans, which I think will get talked about more in the coming weeks. But and that's real hard. That's real hardcore kind of neighborhood community planning that takes place. It's real city planning. Work together on the zoning for cannabis, right? Where we did a lot of the mapping and some of the other things that were helpful. So we're there to be helpful, and obviously from a sewer perspective, we work with cities engineering all the time. Stephanie and some others that are down there that work on that stuff on a regular basis. That's the Park County Sewer District, but all that stuff is intertwined. I mean, heard deputy engineer saying before, it's when you're going in the ground and you're talking about National Grid. One of the other components a lot of times is our sewer interceptors and that type of infrastructure that's under the ground, and our
separating stormwater and sewer.
Separating stormwater and sewer, and our office.
And that's definitely an aging infrastructure. I mean, you've got
not our part.
Yeah, right.
But yes, a lot of it is
in the city. I'm saying,
it can be, and we have that data. We know where every almost every manhole cover is, for example, for our sewer system, and then that is helpful if you're going to go into the ground. We got to know where our stuff is and things of that. So some of that happens on a regular basis every day. Certainly has been good over the last 8 months, and having those conversations and trying to do those things together where possible. Some of them are really in the weeds together, like long range transportation plans and Safe Street for All action plans and human services coordinated plans. Some of it's with the city government, but some of it is with other organizations. We have a human services transportation plan we have to do every 5 years, and have to redo it every 5 years. And there's a 20-year outlook for the long range plan. Can't do that without our technical group of technical committee, which involves people from the city all the time. So it's things of that nature, and that's just from the planning perspective. Obviously, the county executive and the mayor talk all the time, and they've got, it's above my pay grade, but they've got other things that they're doing together, and continue to kind of do those things as we go forward.
And that's the partnership that we needed, because when you do have an entity like the county supporting you, that goes to more dollars for grant funding. There's a number of things that come out of a positive aspect, having that working relationship. With the county and the city.
Yeah, I mean, the Safe Streets, that's right. I mean, the Safe Streets for All is a good example. I mean, that's a federal grant that we went and got. We're going to look at Herkimer and Oneida County as a whole, but we're also going to look inside the city of Utica. We're going to have strategies and actions that'll make that roadway safer, and those roadways safer. And that's something that we're doing, and that will directly benefit, people in every town and city, but Utica as well.
And the city no longer has to focus on that area. They could focus on other areas, because you have the Oneida Herkimer County Transportation Study helping us out in that aspect. So
what's something that is in some cases a mandate is a benefit for all, and
some of these things that we have to do are always have to be done in collaboration. I mean, long range, but you see, the thing is that some things have to be done, and some things have to be done and still should be done. Right. And so long range transportation plans, I heard Sam talking about, you were talking about trucks, I think, earlier, right? So long range transportation plan this time, for the first time, has to, not only does it have to, but we wanted to include a freight portion, right? So that we can better plan for the future about how we're going to move freight in and throughout this area, this city, the county is in general, so that you don't have 18-wheelers on every street.
And we have to acknowledge that we talked to John Piesick about this yesterday, who's the Herkimer County IDA
also
head.
On the Herkimer Oneida County Transportation Council.
This area, based on our proximity to the thruway and major arteries throughout the state as far as highway goes, that is a lot of our industry here is logistics and transportation. So that's all stuff that has to be looked at. Any other final questions, Sam? And then we've got to move along.
No, I mean, that was it. I kind of just wanted to explain the component between the city and the county, and just because we don't talk about it, there's a lot of things that are moving inside the city, and unfortunately, it gets just taken off course on other issues like when an infight on the council, and there's so much more that is going on, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to invite James and even Nick for that fact, and kind of getting them in to explain what the city's doing and how we're doing it.
It's an important topic, and it's been a very educational segment or a couple of segments. So before we break, we want to talk to somebody who is James. Thank you very much as always. Go Packers!
My pleasure.
To get that in as a Vikings fan here.
I went to a birthday party with James last year, and it was Vikings against the Bills.
Oh,
and the Vikings won.
It went very well.
It went very well for James.
2 years ago, Sam.
2 years ago. Several years ago. We'll go.
Speaking of roads and wanting them to be in pristine condition for some of the beautiful cars that people have in the area, we want to go to Dennis Jacobs quickly. He is an organizer and involved with the Purple Heart Car Show that's coming up this weekend. Dennis, thank you so much for your patience. We went a little long there, but we appreciate you sticking around. Tell us what's going on this weekend and what people can expect.
Well, this is our fifth annual Purple Heart Veterans Car Show. It's going to be at FD Proctor Park. We moved from the rec center at the Parkway down to Proctor Park, where we can put a tremendous amount of cars and vendors and stuff down there. Up to the last 4 years so far, we've donated $63,000 to 17 different veteran groups and Gold Star families.
That's awesome. So is it the whole weekend or is it just Saturday?
No, it's just Saturday. Hopefully the rain, the weather helps us out a little bit. It's only Saturday from 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, and it's a $10 donation. It's free to the public. We have the military, I don't know if you've seen them, the military robotic dogs.
I have not seen those, no.
Oh, yeah, they're awesome. We saw them in Rome in the parades in Rome when we got them there this year, and they should be there all day. They're awesome. They're about 2 feet high, 3 feet long, and they talk to you and everything. It's amazing robotic dogs. And they use them in the military also for combat.
Mr. Jacobs, who brings them in?
The Air Force, the Air Base.
Oh, that's awesome.
The Air Base. Yeah, they bring them in. They got a special. It's all done by satellite, and
that's so cool what they can do today. Nowadays, it's really awesome, the technology. And to prevent,
unbelievable.
And ultimately to prevent, and while we thank our brave men and women who are Purple Heart recipients, of course, if you don't know, Purple Heart recipients are those who are injured or are wounded in battle. We want to prevent that as much as possible. And this is definitely a technology, I think, that will help to prevent that. God forbid we ever have to go into another conflict of some kind. The world is a scary place right now, Dennis.
Big time.
I'm looking at the forecast, and while the iPhone app isn't always accurate, it's looking like long-term Saturday, looking like sunshine and blue skies and temperatures in the upper 70s. So, again, that's this Saturday at FT Proctor Park. $10 donation asked of the public, and it's going to be a great time. And Dennis, we wish you all the best of luck.
Yes, Dennis, great job.
I got a few other things here.
Sure, go ahead. My apologies.
It's okay, no problem. We have our Chinese auction.
Okay.
Joe Lode's going to be our DJ. We got food trucks. The first 100 entries get a free Purple Heart coffee cup.
Nice.
And every entry gets a ticket for a door prize. And most of our door prizes are $25 gas cards. And we have race cars that are going to be there. We have Jacobs Motorsports. They got their 3,000 horsepower Corvette that's going to be there.
Wow.
To fire up. Phil Burkhart, he's going to bring his new dragster. George Godey and his son Kevin will have their dragster there. Also, the Comets mascot is going to be there. And at 11 o'clock, we do a presentation, and the mayor is going to be playing the national anthem on his saxophone. And,
always good to hear that.
Yes. Bree Yagi will be there singing the national anthem.
Nice.
All right. Well, it's
we have a lot of different things going to be going on, and hoping for good weather, and hope the public will come out. There's just one other thing I have to say.
Sure.
It may not be right, but I have to say it. Show cars, race cars, it's a sport. And the media, all of them, do not put enough of time in promoting car shows or cars. They put a lot of time in sports, big time. But when they do show cars or racing or whatever it happens to be, you hardly find them, and it's very short. And I don't think they realize that it's a sport. It's a national sport.
Yeah.
And one of our biggest person that I don't know if you ever heard of Don Garlitz.
I have not. No.
Oh, he's 93 years old.
Wow.
They call him Big Daddy. He's the biggest dragster in the country in his day. He's got 4 museums down in Florida, and every year he sends us up signature shirts and photos and everything for our car show. And if you're in a dragster and that's an awesome thing to have Don Garlitz promote our show and send our stuff up. I just invite everybody to come. I appreciate you letting me be on the radio program, and hoping for good weather and a good turnout.
And I know a lot of time and effort goes into planning and coordination with the city and the police department and the parks department. And Mr. Jacobs has been in the forefront of it all, and I appreciate all that hard work and effort and what you do for the community. So thank you.
Thank you all very much.
All right, Dennis, have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you Saturday at FT Proctor Park. It's the Purple Heart Car Show, and thanks so much for taking the time this morning.
Thank you.
All right,
have
Dennis.
a good day now.
Take care.
All right. So we do want to take another quick break. Coming up, we'll speak with Andrew Reed for the Reed Rundown. 3 weekly legal stories that Andrew Reed will run down and go over. We'll have that coming up also a little bit later on in the program. Ryan Nobles, NBC News, to talk about Vice President Harris's pick for her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. And we will do our free money question of the day. We missed it in the 7 o'clock hour, so Megan, what caller do we want to go for? We're going to give away the possibility of $300 with Davey not here to prevent it. And you're good with the 300? You're such a good sport.
Today 300, tomorrow 400, and Friday 500.
Well, I don't know about all that, but we'll start with 300 today. What caller do you want? What do you think, Samantha? That's good.
Caller number 6.
All right, caller 6 through the phone line, 315-736-0186, 315-736-0186. And Sam, what you think you're good with $300?
I was going to call myself.
Well,
see how many times she answers the phone and being on the 6th caller.
You're a de facto employee of Town Square Media today, so you can't win.
Gosh darn it!
But the $300 potentially won is courtesy of Joseph and Andrew Habaika, the Habaika Law Firm. All your legal needs, 315-724-1600. We'll do our free money question and more coming up on First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
It's hard to know what to do when you lose a loved one. You need someone you can trust to help you navigate all the options. Mohawk Valley Monuments has been providing comfort and delivering quality memorials in our community for over 95 years. Mohawk Valley Monuments has experience with all the local cemeteries, from simple grave markings to intricate family mausoleums. For personalized service, call us today at 315-724-7629 or visit us at mohawkvalleymonuments.com.
Our back-to-school blowout is on at Mattress Express. Take up to 60 months to pay for anything in the store with no money down. Let me repeat that. Take up to 60 months to pay at Mattress Express with no money down for qualified buyers. See store for details.
You want to recycle, but you're not sure what's recyclable, what goes in your weekly recycling bin, or what goes in the trash. Wheelock Disposal Service, your recycling experts, wants to give you some helpful tips in determining what waste goes where. You know what to do with the boxes and various packaging, but what about its content? For tissues, paper towels, napkins, wax paper, paper cups, and plates, they all go in your regular trash container. For more information, go to wheelockdisposal.com. Your recycling experts.
Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk.
Life hack.
Here's how it works. You walk into Walmart, go to the electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select the new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
The Stanley Theater in downtown Utica presents 1964, The Tribute, on Thursday, September 19th. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit thestanley.org.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Selects Premium Package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge. Oh, you people are wonderful. Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee. I hear better than I ever thought possible. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to jabraenhance.com/try. That's JABRA enhance.com/try. jabraenhance.com/try. Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Aches and pains aren't trophies. They're just barriers keeping pros like you from getting the work done. You know this business can be backbreaking. All the more reason to partner with someone who has your back, like Clinton Tractor and Ferris Commercial Mowers. Ferris is about helping you finish strong and feel good doing it, with patented suspension technology that allows you to mow faster and get more work done in comfort so you can feel good tomorrow. Visit Clinton Tractor today or at clintontractor.net. Ferris, work hard, feel good.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
Good morning. First news, Keeler in the morning. As Samantha said, there's never a lot of time. 3 hours goes by very quickly, especially when you have to play some pesky commercials.
Well, I've come on the air, God, for a number of years now, and I was like, why are they? They're always late. They're always late.
They're always late, and they're always cutting me off and stuff like that.
And here it is. I'm sitting here co-hosting and watching all the times and everything that goes, and 3 hours isn't enough. So
it really is never enough.
At least for
so
a day,
much to do and so little time. So we still have a lot to jam into the next 27 minutes. And one thing we do have to do is get to our free money question of the day, courtesy of Andrew and Joseph Habaika, the Habaika Law Firm, 315-724-1600 for all your legal needs. On the line right now is Martin from Oriskany. Martin, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so today's question, very quickly, is one that Samantha Colosimo Testa came up with, and we will ask that right away. You've got 7 seconds to answer for your chance at $300. Get a guess in. If you don't know the answer, just throw out a guess, and you could be our winner. If not, we've got a sweet consolation prize for you. So here we go. We just spoke with Dennis Jacobs about the Purple Heart Car Show that's coming up this weekend. What day of the year is traditionally the celebration of National Purple Heart Day? Ready, go.
Oh, jeez.
Throw a guess.
October 5th.
Oh, October 5th. That is a good guess, but actually we did not know this going into our interview with Mr. Jacobs. Today is actually National Purple Heart Day. August 7th is the day that it's traditionally celebrated. We remember those men and women who are injured in battle and in the line of duty for our military. those who receive the Purple Heart. August 7th is the day, but you do win the Food and Fun card, $20 gift card to any of the garden entertainment properties owned, whether that be Babes, Cookies Q and Creamery, Aquavino, and any of the restaurants or concessions at the Adirondack Bank Center. Martin, you never walk away a loser on the Keeler Show. So there you go. Megan's going to hook you up. Stay on the line. Thank you so much for playing.
Thank you.
All right, Martin. Have a good day. Before we get to Lionel Richie, I'm told that Lionel Richie has called in. We're going to get to him in just a minute, but first we want to get to Andrew Reed, the Reed Rundown. It doesn't have the same effect without Bill's explosion sound effect, but we do have Andrew Reed on the line. Every week we talk to him, 3 legal stories that we run down quickly, and we do not have a lot of time with you this morning, so we will get right to them. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you. So, topic number 1, Google has an illegal monopoly on searches, according to a U.S. judge. A U.S. judge ruled Monday that Google violated antitrust laws, spending billions of dollars to create an illegal monopoly and become the world's default search engine. And a lot of people saying that Google is not acting appropriately when it comes to maybe political bias. That and much more going on in the tech world. What is this all about?
Yeah, so this one is all about, there's several antitrust suits, and this is really the first one that's gotten to any good decision points so far. But this one, they essentially means that this judge has ruled there is violation, so it's going to move to the remedy part of the case. And that could lead to the company being broken up. They could have some restrictions put on how they can do contracting for these default search engine agreements, things of that nature. There's a whole list of how they could actually be, how this remedy could be broken out. So it's one, there's a lot to see, but I will say Google has already said they're going to appeal the decision. So in all reality, this case is a long time from being over, for sure.
All right, topic number 2. Elon Musk on Monday accused OpenAI Incorporated and its leaders of violating several laws related to fraud, conspiracy, contract violations, and false advertising by claiming he was wrongly told the company would remain a nonprofit. In a suit filed in California federal court, a lot of tech lawsuits going on in the world. What's this one about?
Yeah, so realistically, Elon Musk said OpenAI had been set up to be a nonprofit. He had put investment dollars, donations in, and now that they've become more of a for-profit model, he's going, I feel like I've been duped here, and that everything that I was told and some of the agreements that were made have been violated. So that's really where the crux of this lawsuit is that it's just a situation of he thought he was told one thing, they went a different direction, and now he's going, hey, this isn't what we agreed to. Let me get my stuff out.
It seems like a lot of these big tech companies, it starts off where there's a lot of competition, like going back to the Google story. It seems like there's a lot of other competition, but then a lot of the cases, you have these bigger corporations that will make offers that can't be refused, so to speak, and they'll buy up some of these smaller companies, and it seems like maybe OpenAI may be the Google of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, AI is very I mean, I know when Facebook started the search for AI, and it was very confusing, and I know they summarize a lot of what people say in the comments, but sometimes it's better off reading the individual comments, because I feel that AI doesn't necessarily, it gives its opinion, not like what the basis of those in the comments are. So I thought that was kind of interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. Andrew, your thoughts on that? Big companies taking over smaller ones.
Yeah, it's one with any new technology, there's going to be players that jump out ahead, and then depending on how they're funded, they'll either grab up some of the smaller ones, or another big company that has a tangential technology may come in and use it to create a new vertical in their big business. It's one, you see this ebb and flow all the time, and there's always usually a rush to a new technology, and then all of a sudden things slowly back off, and then it'll ramp up again. So it's one, we'll probably see another AI ramp up here before too long. It's just a matter of wait and see.
All right. And finally, sex secrets trigger downfall of star Texas bankruptcy judge. At Meat Fest, the judge and the lawyers were all smiles. Judge David R. Jones, who had worked for years to make Houston a destination for high-dollar bankruptcy litigation, can be seen in an October 2022 photo huddled at the barbecue with local attorneys who brought cases before him and formed a cooking crew. What the heck is this all about?
So ultimately, to give the short version of this, there was an attorney and there was this judge. The attorney actually had worked with the judge prior to him becoming a judge, and then when he became a judge, they still had some contacts. At some point, a relationship was started, and they even had bought a house together.
Oh, my gosh.
And he was allowing the law firm that she worked for, as well as at least one in one of the reports, at least once allowed her to even represent a client in front of his court. And that just begs a lot of issues on ethics for attorneys as well as on the side for the judge. So it just created a huge scandal that ultimately has led to the judge resigning, and just begs the question of we need to make sure that we always are looking at the ethics rules and that the attorneys are following them.
Yeah, I mean, we like to think that judges are fair and impartial. That is the role of a judge. But as we realize in some cases, that is not always the case. So seems like this bankruptcy judge in Texas will have a lot more time to do some barbecuing on his own in his own free time.
No kidding.
All right, Andrew Reed, we always appreciate you taking the time. It's the Reed Rundown. Thank you so much for taking the time. We always appreciate it.
You're welcome. Glad to be on.
All
Have
right.
a good day.
And that's Andrew Reed from Texas. And now I'm told by Megan that Lionel Richie is on the line. Wow, my mom is a big fan of your music. I like a few of your tunes as well. Good morning.
Well, hello, Andrew, Samantha, and Megan.
So it is not Lionel Richie, but equally as famous, Stefan Rubitsky is on the line. Good morning, Stefan. What do you got for us?
Well, I have a question for Sam, Councilwoman. When is the next Common Council meeting scheduled for?
It's for
More
tonight.
importantly, when's the next public comment
Tonight.
hearing for the portion of the meeting?
Tonight. It's our pre-meeting's at 6 o'clock, and then our regular meeting's at 7.
Great. Good to know. I like to go to the council meetings and take it all in.
You do, and you do a wonderful job speaking, and we appreciate you always being there, Stefan.
Thank you, Sam.
And, due to Stefan's, how do I say, motivating and I'm trying to think of the words. I'm at a loss for words today. His persistence is the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Self. Due to his persistence, Stefan will be kind of helping out with co-hosting duties tomorrow. He'll be in studio to help us out tomorrow morning. I really couldn't resist any longer. So, Stefan, we'll see you tomorrow morning, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. Behave yourself.
Good luck, Stefan.
Okay, stay cool, Andrew.
I will. I always like to stay. You stay cool, too. All right, Stefan, I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, Stefan Rubitsky there, not Lionel Richie. I was kind of disappointed because, I wanted to say hello to Lionel, but it was Stefan instead. We will take a break. Hopefully we'll talk to Ryan Nobles. Don't know if we'll get him today. We usually talk to him every Wednesday, but if we don't, we have plenty to talk about. We'll take a break and come right back here on First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
For a lasting impression, trust the quality and craftsmanship of Humphrey Memorials. They're experienced in all facets of memorial design, sales of monuments and mausoleums, on-site cemetery lettering, cleaning and restoration, and specialty services like etched glassware, mirrors, and landscape products. Humphrey Memorials of Herkimer has been making a lasting impression in central New York since 1946. They also handle commercial construction projects as well. Find out more at humphrey.memorials.com. or call 866-4471.
Looking to make your business stand out? At Seasonal Sports, we design eye-catching custom signs that turn heads and attract customers. From vibrant banners and sleek storefront signs to custom vehicle wraps, laser engraving, embroidery, screen printing, and more, Seasonal Sports has got you covered. Let Fred and Chrissy Marriott bring your vision to life with top-quality materials and cutting-edge design. Seasonal Sports is your one-stop shop for all your graphic needs. Seasonal Sports, 215 Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro, and online at seasonalsports.com. sports1983.com, where your business shines bright.
My husband and I recently got a mortgage from AmeriQ. The team was so incredible, answering all our questions throughout the entire process, and we had a lot of them. AmeriQ's mortgage team made us feel so secure during the biggest financial decision we will ever make, and we couldn't have asked for a more supportive mortgage team.
Create your meaningful connection with AmeriQ. Visit AmeriQ.org or download our mortgage app today. Membership eligibility is required, insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Let's face it, life can just get messy. John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation will take care of it for you. If you need help with clearing out your home or commercial building, John's Cleanouts will handle it. We understand sometimes it's more than just a cleanout, it's an accumulation of someone's life. We go the extra mile to do the job with integrity, and we're fully insured in the industry. Call John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation today and take the stress out of your mess.
Some things in life you can just rely on, like the faithful friend who always comes when you call, the paperboy who never misses a day, and the tried and true performance of a new Ruud Home AC system. So here's to reliability built into everything we do. Rely on us, your Ruud Pro partner, to get reliable cooling and comfort. For outstanding service, knowledgeable technicians, and dependable home comfort, contact Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning for all your heating and cooling home needs. Call 315-829-4100 or online at tri-countyheating.com.
Stop what you're doing and listen to this. Your God-given freedoms are up for the taking, and those doing the taking are the same people who've sworn to defend your freedom. They think they can control the media, hide the truth, and force their delusions onto your family. You know what they can't take away? Self-reliance, peace of mind. Got water filtration? You should. A charged solar generator? You better. Emergency food on your shelf? Get it now from My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is the most trusted name in survival, and for damn good reason, too. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now and save $200 on their best-selling 3-month emergency food kit. It delivers over 2,000 calories per day, plus sealed inside practically unpierceable packaging. It lasts up to 25 years. Oh, and did I mention it's delicious? Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and save $200 per kit. Includes fast and free shipping. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Good morning. First News Keeler in the morning. Bill is off on vacation, well-deserved, and I am happy to be joined in studio this morning by Councilwoman at Large Samantha Colosimo Testa in the city of Utica. You've done a wonderful job, and as you've noted, we don't always have enough time in the morning to get to everything we want to get to. So I appreciate your patience and your contributions to the program this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been a good time.
Really quickly before we go to Ryan Nobles, who is patiently waiting on the line, we do not like to make Ryan wait. A few comments quickly. John in Bridgewater, hey Andrew, common sense goes out the window when you're stoned behind the wheel. Wow, that was a comment after our conversation with Jerry J-Man Joyner earlier this morning about cannabis reaching levels of alcohol of distracted and impaired driving crashes. Also, Christine in Whitesboro always keeping us on our game and being critical, but constructively critical, saying, Andrew, you're getting as bad as Keeler with the throat clearing on an open mic. It's loud. I apologize. I have tried to curb that behavior, Christine. Like that's how we operate here. You can give honest feedback and comments at any time. So I apologize about that. I'm working to be better. Lance and Lee, everybody's favorite commenter. Samantha, Lance saying this morning, Andrew, you should have brought up the new Utica mayor's and his lackey's attempt to ban cannabis on city streets, a law that would be unenforceable because state law would eliminate any kind of prosecution. That is Lance and Lee. You want to comment on that?
I don't know. I'm not sure if that's true because I think that they look at cannabis as the same way as they do as alcohol consumption. So, I mean,
oh, really? I didn't know that.
So, well, I mean, they would recognize that through that local law. So I think that was kind of the idea. Is that
so no public consumption of alcohol, no public smoking of the weed.
Right. So kind of like the same thing that we were talking about earlier with driving under the influence of marijuana is very similar to driving under the influence of alcohol kind of type thing. They're both enforced that type of way. So
all right, we'll see what comes of that. But without further ado, drum roll please, Ryan Nobles of NBC News. Ryan, Bill is off, so you get myself and Samantha. So I apologize in advance.
I want to call it an upgrade. You guys will burn me if I say that.
Well, listen, you're a Mets fan against 2 Yankees fans, so we won't get into that too much. Although Samantha's a Bills fan and I'm a Bills supporter, so we can all hope that as NFL season is upon us, that hopefully the Bills will beat the Kansas City Chiefs this year, if nothing else.
Hopefully.
Well, we don't count on that, but we remain optimistic, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right.
So, Ryan, we haven't spoke to you in a while as we've been on vacation. It's always good to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking the time this morning. Not a lot going on in the world. Vice President Kamala Harris picking her running mate yesterday, Tim Walz. A lot of people thought it was going to be Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania. Talk to us a little bit about what this means for the Democrat ticket and the campaign going forward.
Well, I think what Kamala Harris did more than anything with this particular pick is that she basically is saying that she's going to run on her merits. It was in many ways the selection of Governor Walz is a do no harm pick for her. He does bring a lot to the table in terms of coming from the Midwest. He is a plain spoken a guy with kind of a blue collar background that I think appeals to some of the voters that she specifically wants to reach. But he's not exciting by any stretch of the imagination. It's not as though they're going to fire up a base of voters that they were looking to fire up, or necessarily bring them a specific voting block in a swing state.
Yeah.
It seems pretty clear here that she's decided that the race is going to rise and fall on her merits. And obviously there were some things with Governor Shapiro. While he is an attractive candidate, is probably has a bright future in the Democratic Party and comes from maybe the most important state, they didn't appear to really hit it off in the meeting that they had, the private meeting. And then I think there was a level of concern about his ambition and maybe that it may overshadow Kamala Harris. And I know there's some reporting yesterday that basically Governor Walz said that he's in it just to be her vice president, doesn't have ambition to be president, and he's just going to support her. And that seemed to be something attractive to Kamala Harris as they move into this next stage of the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, that is something that definitely could be a bone of contention in 4 years, no matter what happens. If Shapiro decides he wants to run for president, it could be a situation where if Vice President Harris wins this time around, that there could be a primary or some sort of competition. And the last person you want to face a competition from or competitiveness from is your vice president. So I can see where that would factor in most definitely.
Yeah, and I think there's another component to it as well, in that Shapiro's new in the job, right? He's only been governor of Pennsylvania for about a year and a half. Walz is already deep into his second term. He might be ready for that next step in the political process, where Shapiro's really just starting to get his footing as the governor of Pennsylvania. And, Shapiro had already started to kind of build a national profile. Walz is an unknown. We had a poll yesterday that said that 70% of Americans have never even heard of him, much less have an opinion of him. So I think that, this is an opportunity for her to kind of build a message and create an image for what this ticket can be before it's defined for them. And then, of course, there was the backdrop of Shapiro being a Jewish American and how that impacts the kind of raging debate within the Democratic Party about how to handle the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And so I think those, there were just, with Walz, again, not exciting, but do no harm. And I think that was the goal that they were looking for.
Yeah, it's interesting how much the needle moves as far as polling, and we'll be interested to see how this pick impacts that. At least the betting odds showing everything to be in Harris's favor right now. But how quickly those change in the last month, there's been so many different changing of the needle direction going on, and then how quickly that can change yet again. And we still got 90 days left until the election.
What I think is most remarkable, Andrew, about the last 2 months. I mean, we have had a series of events in a presidential campaign that have never happened before. You had a former president who was running for office barely survive an assassination attempt. That's never happened in the course of a presidential election. And then you have I shouldn't say that. I guess it did happen to Teddy Roosevelt, but it didn't happen in the fashion that it happened with Donald Trump. But then at the same time, within days of that, you have the incumbent president decide that he's not going to run for re-election. That's definitely something that's never happened, especially at this late stage of the game. And despite all of this tumult in the campaign, the Democrats picking a new candidate, they both sides picking their vice presidential campaign, the debate, all of this kind of excitement to a certain degree, all these notable things. When you look at the race, it's basically exactly the same place it was in 6 months ago. It was basically a 50-50 race then. It's a 50-50 race now. I do still think that Donald Trump has the edge, but I do think that the ceiling for Kamala Harris right now is a lot higher. Donald Trump had a run of luck at the end of June, beginning of July, that is unparalleled in presidential history. With the debacle of the debate performance, the implosion of the Democratic Party, surviving the assassination attempt, I think, allowed his supporters to really rally around behind him. Their VP rollout initially brought some energy. I think now has kind of faded a bit. But despite the fact that he had all of these good things happening, he never cracked 50%. And so the question you have is, where, can Kamala Harris build on the enthusiasm and momentum that she has now, because Donald Trump has shown that he's not able to do that. And that could be the difference. If she's not able to catch and hold on to that momentum, he may be able to sneak in a win and be back in the White House.
You can have enthusiasm when you haven't ran for, when you didn't have to primary and you're just thrown into a race and running for president. I mean, you didn't have to utilize any energy up until that point. So that's kind of an interesting.
That's another whole unprecedented way of things happening. So, Ryan,
and I think that's to Samantha, to your point, there's good and bad associated with that, right? That she didn't run a primary. I think that there's the questions about the democratic process, and I think that there probably are a lot of voters who felt that they'd supported President Biden and feel a little jilted by that, and that there's this sense that she was coronated as the nominee. But then at the same time, it's just so much less time for the Republicans to define her. I mean, she's a pretty well-known candidate already, but they've spent so much of their time and energy up until now defining Joe Biden. He's not part of the ticket anymore, and not everything that they've tagged Joe Biden with they're going to be able to transfer to Kamala Harris, so that's going to be a challenge.
All right, well, we will see what happens. Always a pleasure speaking with you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and Buffalo Bills action coming up soon, just 3 weeks away.
Right. I can't wait, guys. Thanks for having me on. See you. Talk to you next week.
All right, Ryan, have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week. Samantha Colosimo-Testa, in the 5 seconds we have left, thank you so much. Always a pleasure, and do it again sometime with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, everybody have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow.
Wouldn't it be great to have AC? You deserve to have air conditioning in your home. And no, I'm not talking about those clunky window units. I'm Jen from Standard, and my team is here to help. Regardless of the type of home you have or your income, we can install AC and make sure you stay comfortable this summer. And even better, in many cases, rebates and incentives significantly reduce the cost, or you could even get it for free. Call Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating today at 315-859-6292. We promise to save you money.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medication.